Law enforcement can be overrated for its physical dangers. You know, in a half-hour TV show, you'll see 5 shootouts. Well, it's not quite that dramatic. However, it is emotionally the most dangerous profession. Peace officers deal with the 5% of society that nobody else wants to deal with. I say they have a daily drop of corrosion on their soul because of what they see. A police officer sees in 1 year more than most people will ever see in a lifetime. They see dead bodies, they see brains spattered on walls, they see blood, they see people that are hurt and injured on a daily basis. Most officers really love their work. You know, they like working with people and trying to help people. But if they find themselves in a situation where they have a number of calls that come out all at once, and they have to go solve a problem, then they have to move to the next problem, and then the next problem, it's very difficult at the end of the day because they know they haven't really solved problems, they've just helped them at the moment. And that can weigh on the heart of a person. If a person in the military or a police officer who has a tremendous amount of training ends up incapable of functioning, that's a place we don't want them to be. There's an extraordinary percentage of law enforcement and military who take their own lives. We want to avoid having to replace so many of them, and we don't want them to be casualties along the way. We'd like them at the end of their career to be able to retire with peacefulness in their soul, not a torn up human being that has difficulty functioning anymore. To me, that's the bottom line, is staying healthy, staying balanced, dealing with trauma as it comes, working to counteract that daily drop of corrosion. I believe the Desert Refuge is a unique resource because it is set aside specifically for law enforcement and military. I've been to many retreat houses, but most of the personnel that man those retreat houses do not have experience with law enforcement. This place is here to attract chaplains and military psychologists and people that have specific training with dealing with post-traumatic stress. And our vision for the future is to be able to bring all these resources to bear so that this place is always available to our officers, that they can come here and have an experience like no other experience at a retreat house, that they're going to be heard as a police officer, they're going to be heard as a young Marine. They're going to be heard as the wife of a guy going through the police academy or a gal going through the police academy, a spouse that's going to be a little more intensely present to what their specific needs are.
You really never get to let your guard down, really never off duty, until you can come to a place like this where you're around fellow officers, Father Mike, and it's a very supportive, safe environment.
They come with a very high stress level and you're trying to make everything normal, and that's not as easy as you think it is.
By having an outlet such as the Desert Refuge, it helps you to center yourself and get back on track. You relate better to people.
When you leave here, you can remove yourself from all those stresses. You come back with some inner peace, and when you have that inside of you, then you can do everything better. You can communicate with people better, you can do your job better, you can relate to your family better. So I think it's a win-win for everyone.
The total moral fitness, that's what we use as far as the military. And this is going to be part of it. It helps everybody. It helps me a lot. So it's a total connection with everything that you do.
Just imagine the lawsuits that are avoided by having people that are healthy working the streets, as opposed to somebody that's thinking about something else going on in their life and not paying attention to what they're doing and offending a citizen or worse of all, violating their civil rights. The potential benefit for a benefactor to the Desert Refuge is that we have the opportunity to make our society better by the healthy functioning of our peace officers and our military personnel. I had a middle-aged officer come out, and he swung a sledgehammer for 3 days and tore down an old shed. There was dust flying, and it was pretty wild. He had an issue at work, and he had an issue at home, and was working on an interagency task force and investigating criminal behavior in another department, and it just really got to him. 3 months later, he said, "You know, I was thinking about eating my gun, but I changed my mind after I was at the refuge." Lo and behold, he went on to become a chief of a smaller department. So I thought, wow, that makes it worthwhile.